What's going on, hey guys? Stab is here, and today we are going over our draft. If you guys missed the last video, it was an announcement that we are an official member of the PokePals World Tournament Draft League, and kind of explain the specifics of the league in that video. So if you want to know about that, go check out. Basically, it's round robin, and we do have some constraints on what we can pick. We were allowed to choose 4 OU Pokemon, 4 UU Pokemon, 2 RU Pokemon, and 2 NU Pokemon. So those were kind of the constraints that I had to build my team around. I unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, once you see my draft, you'll see that it was actually more of a blessing. I did have the last pick in the draft for at least OU, because what we ended up doing was we ended up reversing the draft order every other round. So I went last for OU, but I went first for UU, etc. But going into this tournament, I kind of knew what I wanted to get, and a lot of that had to do with the experience I got in the NPL. I've been in the NPL for this will be the third season, and kind of knowing what's good in the format and knowing what to draft when and where and what is complements each other in the format is very helpful, or at least that's what I felt like going into this draft. So I felt really prepared without even having much of a plan. I kind of knew what I wanted, and that was actually the Lord, popularized by Trevor Forrest, and the near MVP and one of the kill leaders of the 2 last seasons in the NPL. And my first Pokemon that somehow fell to me. This Pokemon is great, especially in the format, and it's pretty good though in general, and that is the Lord Charizard X, Mega Charizard X. Now, one of the things that I feel like influenced my ability to get this pick in the first place was that we are actually allowing Meg Metagross, and believe me, if you guys have been to draft format before, you know this is automatically a bad idea. I tried, guys, I really did. Luckily I was able to stop Mega Lucario from being allowed, because that actually was a possibility for about 2 seconds, and so it could have been worse. But anyway, I did draft Charizard X, and Charizard X is really good. It can run a defensive set, it can be just the classic sweeper. It can do a lot of different things, and it has a pretty decent move pool and a very nice typing in Wing, Fire, and Dragon. It's not weak to Stealth Rush once it Mega Balls, but it is weak coming in, so you'll see that I addressed that in one of my later picks. So, being the last one in the draft, I was able to get a snake draft format in the fact that I'm able to choose 2 picks in a row. So, to complement Charizard X, we got Mr. Manaphy. If you guys have seen Joey's video, you already know the power of Manaphy, and what the Manaphy will hopefully accomplish for him in the UCL is kind of similar to what I thought what might be able to accomplish, help me out here, and that is the fact that Manaphy has very good coverage. It gets a lot of different moves. It gets Tail Glow, which is obviously one of the best moves as far as boosting the game. But one thing that I feel like sets Manaphy apart in the draft format leagues, as opposed to just taking it on a team in the OU ladder, is that if you bring Ice Beam, you don't really have much to hit Mega Venusaur. If you bring Psychic, you don't really have much to hit Latios. But because you already know your team and the team that you're facing in draft leagues, you can account for that and pack the right coverage move. So Manaphy is very good. It's even better in draft leagues. Now, those first 2 picks I was really comfortable with, and going into what would be the second round, which was technically round 3, but it was the second time that I got to choose. I can't speak English today. Was actually round 4, but it was actually round 3. I'm sorry, but I had 2 plans, and it all depended on if one Pokemon that I really wanted was chosen or not. Now, if the Pokemon was taken, what I was going to do is I was going to take Hippo and the Pokemon that I actually ended up getting as well, but to form backcourt. But somehow everybody underestimates the ability of Weavile in this format, so I snatched up Weavile right away, which has one of the most powerful knockoffs in the game. It has priority Ice Shard. It does have several good coverage moves. I won't reveal any of that just because my opponents might take advantage of knowing that if they don't already do. But Weavile has decent coverage. It's very fast. It's pretty frail, but that's okay because it whacks a lot of different Pokemon in the game. Lastly, this was another snake pick, so I got 2 picks in a row. And I cannot believe this was actually the last pick of the OU round, and I cannot believe this Pokemon lasted this long. And that is Excadrill, my boy Excadrill. If you guys know my last channel, I had the mascot. I love Excadrill to death. Brings a decent Rapid Spinner, and I know I was talking to some people in NPL helping plan my draft, and originally what was going to happen is if Weavile was taken, I was going to take either Hippo or Tyranitar to build a Sand Rush core with that, but I ended up getting Excadrill alone, and just because I don't have Sand Rush does not mean that Excadrill is useless. It's actually a very good Rapid Spinner. Mold Breaker is very good, especially since there's shit like Dragonite here, and that breaks Multiscale, and things like that, but yeah, I was very happy with my OU picks. Once again, they were Charizard, X, Manaphy, and Weavile, and Excadrill. I didn't really draft any bulk more offensive in the UU round just because the OU round. Sorry, I cannot speak today, but I went offense in the OU round just because I know there's very, very good walls and defensive Pokemon in the UU round. UU, I actually did get to choose first, so my first UU pick was actually Cresselia. Now, Cresselia is actually a very good Pokemon. It has base 130 special defense and like 110 defense, I think, like that. It's pretty close. It can go either physical or special. It does have some decent offensive capabilities as well, and better yet, it is possible to use it to check Mega Metagross. So that was something I liked a lot. For my second UU pick, I was kind of not sniped, but kind of screwed over because I guess I undervalued these two Pokemon that I wanted. My plan was either to get a Florges or an Infernape. Infernape is amazing in the format. It just gets so many different things. But unfortunately, that ended up being, I believe, Nick's. Was it Nick or Will? Anyway, it was one of those two chose it as their first UU pick. So I ended up going with Tentacruel. And I believe this was also another. This might have been another snake pick, I'm not positive. But I ended up going with Tentacruel, and it's kind of funny because in the NPL draft, I got Tentacruel as well, except I got it with this second overall pick. Here, I feel is a much more fitting place for it. I needed a backup Rapid Spinner just because it's pretty good. It gives me a stall switch in it, which is even better. It does have the ability to stop setup sweepers. It can take some hits. It's toxic, and more importantly, and probably the most utility thing that I drafted for, was its ability to set up toxic spikes. If you look at the Pokemon that were drafted before this, a lot of these Pokemon, outside of like Count Kelder, which actually benefits from it, actually are worn down, especially that Mega Altaria right there, are worn down by toxic spikes. So, that was something that I felt was really beneficial. Secondly, or thirdly, in UU, I needed an electric type. I didn't want to get one in OU. I considered Raikou for like 5 minutes, but I ended up passing on it. And, well, I don't think it actually got to me, but I kind of thought about it in my mind. I was going to go either Arcanine or an electric type, and I don't get a Heliolisk, and I needed a special attacker on my team outside of Manaphy. I only had one at that point, and most of my Pokemon were either physical or bulky walls. But Heliolisk is very fast. It's got a good electric normal typing. It's got very high special attack, and it's got a variety of different moves it can use. So that is something that I felt the Heliolisk was very brought to the team pretty well. And then my last UU pick was Tornado's Eye. I didn't really have a support Pokemon, and I love the fact that Tornado's Eye gets Prankster. It gets decent moves to if I want to use it in offensive role, but Priority Taunt is pretty beneficial for my team, so that was a big draw for that. And I can also set up Rain Dance, so you might be seeing something with that as well. We got into RU, and I kind of had an original plan for RU was to get a Bird Check in Rhyperior and a Volt Switcher in Rotom-Mow. Unfortunately, Rhyperior got taken literally 1 or 2 picks before I wanted it, so I had to go with something else. And I actually went with Tyrantrum. Tyrantrum does take a lot more damage from Talonflame than Rhyperior obviously would, but Tyrantrum also has better offensive capabilities. It can run Stealth Rock. It can be a defensive set. It gets pretty good support moves. It gets a decent ability, and it's just a good offensive Dragon type, especially if we're in the RU tier. My second pick, I had to do it, guys. I had to do it. I needed a grass type, either the Volt Switching Rotom-Mow, like I talked about earlier, or the bulk or something bulky that could go offensive if needed as well. And I decided on Santa Christ himself, Mr. Tangrowth. Tangrowth, I think I sniped somebody, but oh well. Tangrowth is pretty good. It complements my team pretty well. It takes hits for Manaphy. It takes hits for Excadrill to an extent, but I just like Tangrowth, and while it does carry some utility and knockoff and sleep powder as well, so kind of like that. NU, we were back to the NU round, and again, I went first in NU because that's the second round in the little flip, and I had some options in NU. I kind of wanted Mesprit for an offensive psychic type, but I already had Cresselia, so I didn't really want two psychic types. Even though I did have the best dark type available. But there was a Drapion, and I think there was also a Crocodile running around here. So I didn't really want Mesprit in hindsight. So I was going to get a fighting type at RU, but I chose not to, obviously, because I got Tyrantrum instead. So I went with Sawk in NU, and the reason I went with Sawk over something like Gert is even though the Gert is bulkier, Sawk hits a lot harder, and it has a lot better coverage moves it can use. For my last and final pick, and I believe this was one of the final picks in the draft, might have been one of the final picks in the draft, but anyway, I decided on Kecleon. Kecleon, I was going to go either Tauros or Kecleon, but unfortunately Tauros got taken 3 picks before, and I need some normal stab, and I like the fact that Kecleon has Protean, so should be hitting pretty hard. It gets a variety of moves. It gets a variety of priority moves, which outside of a couple mods on my team, I don't really have that luxury. So that was kind of the patch up for the last pick in the draft. But yeah, so that is the team. Pretty solid team. I really like this team a lot. I feel like I did well drafting, and I cannot wait to use it this season. I guess you guys can leave a like if you enjoyed my draft here. Leave some comments if you guys have some sets you want me to use. If you guys have some recommendations, predictions, overall comments on the team, go ahead and leave those down below. And subscribe if you have not. I look forward to bringing the Sacred Fire to victory in the series this season. So, with that, guys, I am out.